Grand solar flash update for October 24th. The Great Awakening has arrived. As always, my suggestion is to question your reality and then change it. ThunderWizard.com is the website that supports this YouTube channel. I encourage you to go log on to that website, check out all of the higher dimensional energy practices, the personal mentorship, spiritual counseling, live Zoom group classes. You can subscribe at various levels, and you can also go to the shop if you want to just get some video courses that you can get in a single form. And my books can be found at michaelwilliamdenny.com. Please go check that out. All right, so Grand Solar Flash update for October 24th. The Great Awakening has arrived. By the way, speaking of awakening to one's deity, the meditation to become the ruling god of your universe is something that I just put together, and I put it up at the thunderwizard.com shop. Now, this video, it's a guided meditation with a bunch of different seed sounds, and I take you through the process of the Atlantean / Egyptian understanding of the birth of the soul and human beings evolving into deities. This is free for subscribers at the thunderwizard.com site who are at the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong or higher. But you can also just go to the shop and you can get it there if you want to just do the guided meditation video. Wanted to just mention that before I forgot. So welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy to be here. So what we are awakening to, I mean, I can feel it. I'm starting to feel more and more hopeful about the world every day. I really think that somewhere, it might have been a month, 2-3 months ago, if you remember, we were doing the live guided interdimensional meditation that we do every Wednesday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We had been doing those, and the light beings had told me that you did it. You beat the dark forces. It's all downhill from here. And I didn't see that. I didn't feel that. But I'm starting to see that that may be the case. Bear in mind, the stuff that we're doing in these meditations, I have to tell you, I mean this, I'm not trying to hyperbolize. This isn't something I've come up with. I'm finally believing what these light beings have been telling me, since the beginning. It is literally the most powerful thing anybody can do right now on planet Earth to shift this world into the 5D, whatever you want to call it. The most powerful thing that anybody can do is these meditations. We are literally leaving the 3D program, and we are going outside of the program. And the level of power that we are putting into not just our solar system, but our planet is off the charts. And it is literally the single most powerful influence on our world today. You're not going to know that walking around. I'm not going to know that. We're still going to be walking around. I still have to, bathe and brush my teeth and, take vitamins and eat and sleep. I still have to do all that 3D stuff. And so when you're walking around, you don't really realize it. But I guarantee you that's the case. I haven't been sharing a lot of what the light beings have been telling me recently because, you think you get to a certain level of incredulity and fantasticalness, and you think it's going to, stop, and it doesn't. It gets more and more bizarre and amazing and unbelievable. So I'm here to tell you that what we're accomplishing is absolutely phenomenal. Now, it takes a while. When we do these meditations, there's a lag time. So, what we did a month, 2-3 months ago probably hasn't got here yet. We haven't seen it completely manifest in our timeline. Because bear in mind, when we're outside doing these meditations, we're outside of 3D space-time. So light beings are talking as though it's already happened. They're talking about it in the past tense oftentimes. And they're showing me this new world as though it's already there, that it's already been created. But, I'm a 3D being, so I follow this 3D timeline. But it can be very confusing. In any case, the awakening that is happening is an awakening to the soul. Religion hasn't done it. Religion has never been able to awaken people to the soul, no matter how much they talk about it. It's never been something that happens in religion. Some spiritual paths that have actual energy exercises, because bear in mind, the soul is energy. The soul is energy. We think in this third dimension, we think of the soul as a concept, but it's not. It's energy. We live in a universe that's even more physical and more energetic than this one. We think that this is the physical earth and what we're doing out there, and light beings and angels and ancestor spirits. We sort of think of them as these wispy things that aren't really in the real world, and that's the opposite. This is the less real world. And this world, we know, is made up of energy. We know that. It's made up of matter, and when you break matter down, you find it's made up of energy. We know that. Science has finally figured out what mystics have been saying for thousands of years. So the soul is energy, and that's why the only so-called religions that have energetic practices associated with them, those are the ones that have an accurate understanding, or at the very least a more accurate understanding of the soul. Taoism, the yogic practices of Hinduism. Hinduism can get wrapped up in religion too, don't get me wrong, but the origins of it has always been about doing practices and connecting to energy. Our shamanic ancestors, no matter who you are, if you go back far enough in your history, you're going to find shamans. Shamans are all about energy and connecting to beings, and that, in fact, the essence of shamanism, really shamanism isn't the right word, it's the one we understand, but the correct word is animism. And the definition of animism is the belief that everything has a spirit, has consciousness, has a personality. And that's fundamental. It's just a fundamental understanding of all peoples. Religion is when you get stuck in your head and you get disconnected from all of that. Anyway, I could go on and on and on about that. But one of the things that's going to be the end result of this solar flash process, which we are in, we're in the thick of it now. It is gone full steam ahead. That we are waking up to the reality of our soul. And it's interesting, again, the word for the sun in my ethnic background, in the Germanic languages, the word for the sun is the same for the word for soul. In fact, the word soul comes from the Germanic word for the sun, S-A-W-U-L, Saul. Saul. Saul became soul, S-O-U-L. We think it's something different. It's not. Our ancestors, when they said, my soul feels this, they were talking about a light, the sun. And when we looked up at the sun and we called it the Saul, we were talking about the soul of what we perceive to be our universe. And this is true, and every time, by the way, every star out there is a conscious being, and it is a soul. It's like the bare essence of a soul out there. And, I didn't know this. I, intellectually knew that because I'd been practicing different spiritual practices, even esoteric practices, my whole adult life. So I knew intellectually that everything had consciousness. But it wasn't until a couple of years ago, after I had been doing CE5, the letters C, E, the number 5, go look it up. We do it every time we do the interdimensional meditation. After I was doing that, then all these crazy things started happening. And one night, I felt a higher dimensional being communicating to me. I could feel the electromagnetic energy hitting me, as well as I could hear telepathically a message. And the message was, "Come outside, I want to talk to you." What? That's kind of a frightening thing. But I got up and I went outside, and sure enough, it was a full moon, and the moon was talking to me. The moon was sending me love and communicating with me, and then I started talking to the different stars. I communicate with the sun every day. Just about every time that I send out to the sun any kind of message, I get one back, along with energy communicating with me. So now this is my reality. It's not just an idea in my head. And we think shamans have this crazy belief, man, and they're so sensitive. Well, once you get to that place, it's not anything weird. It's just normal. Just like every time I see a person walking by, I know that person, there's a soul in there, and I could go and talk to that person. Everything has a soul. So the awakening is the awakening to the soul in everything. And this is beginning to happen. Watch, it's going to explode out. More and more of this is going to happen. Let's see. So I've got things I want to share with you, what I think is going to be coming in this solar flash event that we are experiencing. So the solar energy is increasing. And again, I find that very coincidental. Because what is the soul? The sun, solar energy. It's soul energy. And the solar energy is increasing, which gives us what? An awareness of the soul. Our soul. The soul in everything. And so that's why we're having these solar storms. And now, of course, now it makes perfect sense. The solar flash event. And I'm sure you've heard me say it a billion times. I asked the light beings, I said, what is this awakening event going to be? Is it going to be a fleet of spaceships surrounding Earth? And they said, no. It's going to be waves, solar waves of love, a series of solar waves of love that would penetrate into the Earth and lift up the awareness of all beings. And that is exactly what has been happening. It officially started December 21st, 2021. So when it first started. No, 22, sorry. December 21st, 2022. That's when it first started officially. That's when we started getting this solar flash. These solar wave events started coming. So we've got a lot of stuff heading towards us. I'm going to jump ahead here. The second comet is heading towards Earth on October 28th. I think I have that date right. It's the second Atlas comet. Interesting phrase, as you know. The yugas, as you can see here, right opposite where we are now. The Atlantis sunk about 9600 BC, which is directly opposite from the Yuga cycle where we are now. And the king of Atlantis, his name was Atlas. Atlantis, I think, means, possessed by Atlas, his city. And it's interesting that the comets that we've been having, the first one that passed by not too long ago, on October 6th, went close to the sun, that was named Atlas. Well, this new comet is also named Atlas. And again, I won't get into it too deeply, but I find it very interesting that scientists believe that these are fragments of comets. And as it so happens, 13,000 years ago, With the Younger Dryas event, it is believed that comets struck the Earth, creating this cataclysm. And so we're on the direct opposite side of that. You can see on the green there, the Suchinshan Atlas there, October 6th, they put it down there, directly opposite of when the Younger Dryas event happened. So I believe that these are fragments of the comets that hit us as we were shifting out of the highest spiritual essence of Satya Yuga. And then we, began spiraling down towards Kali Yuga. And I believe we are in the midst of a dramatic, from a time perspective, this is a very fast shift. We're shifting up. I mean, everything is changing. Everybody's consciousness about everything is shifting. I mean, it's not anywhere near what it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And, in terms of time, 30 years is a blink of an eye. It's half of my lifetime, but, in terms of history, it's a blink of an eye. So for things to shift as drastically as they have just within the past 4 or 5 years, I mean, the awakening and just the way people see the world has changed so drastically. So whether or not we have a final solar flash big event, I hope we do. But even if we don't, we have to admit that the shift has been dramatic and it's already here. All right, so what else do I want to say? No, that's not it. We are here. All right, so how to pull out of frequency death spiral. So, we had a frequency death spiral during the Younger Dryas event. Literally, we were at Satya Yuga, which is 100% connection to the spirit, and then the Younger Dryas event, boom, we crashed. And we then began going down this energetic consciousness spiral downwards. Really, we just started circling the drain. And so we are experiencing that again in our resistance. So the people who are waking up and doing it easily, good for them. It hasn't been an easy process for me. I've bounced, back and forth a lot. The awakening has really brought out all the worst in my third dimensional reality. So I've had to do some things to come out of that, frequency death spiral. So if you're experiencing that, if you're having anxiety, fear, anger, depression, if you're bouncing back and forth between, the bliss of awakening and and then going into, how horrible things are in the world, because things are starting to get pretty bad. I mean, there are people whose lives have just been absolutely destroyed by natural events happening to us, and I could get into all of that. I'm not going to do that at the moment. But, how do we avoid that death spiral, that frequency spiral of death? Well, I think everything that I'm doing on this channel is about that. So if you haven't already done so, if you've been waiting to do it, if you're one of those people who just comes on to my channel and watches the video, I'm telling you, you're getting less than 0.5% of what I'm offering to you. I am giving you the most powerful tools to shift up. You're not going to find these anywhere. Good for you if you do. Yoga, Tai Chi, meditation, whatever it is, I'm not here to compete with anybody. But if you're struggling, I've got tools that will help you. The 90-day challenge, if you go up here to thunderwizard.com, subscribe to the Warrior 90-day Lightning Qigong. Follow the instructions on there. I guarantee you your energy will shift up. I guarantee you will have experiences. If you're having challenges, even with that, the single most powerful set of tools that I have on this channel, and this is for free. Everybody can make use of this. If you're just watching my channel and you haven't taken advantage of these free tools, you're the only one that's suffering from that. If you go to the playlists and go to the 12 steps to 5D, do those. Do them. Do them. Don't just watch the video and think about it in your head. Actually do them. Better yet, if you have an excuse because there's a 12-step program for literally everything. I'm sure there's a 12-step program for nail biters, but I'm venturing a guess that a good portion of people watching my channel can qualify for at least one 12-step group, if not Codependence Anonymous or, adult children of alcoholics and dysfunctional families. I mean, show me one family in the United States that isn't at least a little bit dysfunctional. So there's a 12-step group for that, and that's good because you can get a sponsor who can walk you through these steps. But I strongly recommend doing steps 4 through 7 repeatedly, over and over again. Now, you have to do steps 1 through 3 before you get there. But that is something that is probably the most powerful set of tools. Listen to my language. I'm very, very particular with the language I use. That is the most powerful set of tools that I have that will shift you out of negative thinking. If you combine that with the energy practices, and if you're so inclined, you combine that with personal mentorship from me or anybody else for that matter, you will be bulletproof. Do you want to be bulletproof? Here's how you do it. You go and subscribe to 90-Day Challenge or do one of the practices like the Awakening the Immortals or the 5-element Maoshan spirit fighting or, the practices that I teach. There's number 1. Number 2, combine that with doing the 12 steps to 5D. If you're so inclined, get involved with an actual 12-step group. It won't cost you any money. You can do it from your home. You never have to leave it. Your house. You can do it on the internet. Combine that with personal mentorship. I'm available for that. You can go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe for the various levels of that. Those 3 things will make you bulletproof. Okay, now in terms of the energy practices, you have so many things to choose from. You can do the Warrior 90-Day Challenge. You can do the other Maoshan practices that I have there that you'll get when you're subscribed to the Warrior 90-Day Challenge. You have the other energy practices like the Awakening the Immortals, which you can get in the shop. The Maoshan 5-element moving forms. The most powerful energy practice bar none in the entire history of the universe. That stuff. Anyway, I kind of forgot where I was going with that. Anyway, in other words, there's so many different energy practices on this channel. You don't have to do just one. If you want to just stick with the 90-day, great. You want to stick with the Maoshan 5-element moving practices, great. You want to do the Awakening the Immortals, great. You want to do this new one, the Atlantean Egyptian Path to Becoming God, great. And again, you can find that at thunderwizard.com. If you're subscribed, you'll have access to it. Go to the shop. It'll be available for you there. If you're not subscribed, you can go and purchase it for cheap. But do something. Do something. This universe is a universe of energy. You will not evolve in any other way other than frequency-wise and energetic. It's not that your brain, your thinking changes your frequency. It's the other way around. This is something that people on Earth don't get. The people that sit around, this is where philosophy came from. This is where religion came from. I mean, look at Christianity. Christianity, the way to achieve enlightenment, which they call being saved, is to intellectually adopt an idea. If you believe that Jesus died for your sins, you'll be saved. No religion in history has ever said that. That's the only one. Why? Because it tells you just get stuck in your head. And what is the thing that I run into the most with people that I've been teaching my entire adult life is that people are stuck in their head. By the way, that's why people smoke pot and think that they're spiritual, because they sit around and think about shit, man. I mean, like, I'm looking at my thumbnail, man, and it's like, I'm wondering if there's like a universe in my thumbnail, and what if like there's this dude, man, that's sitting on a planet inside of the universe inside my thumbnail, and he's looking at his thumbnail, man. That's what people think. They think they're thinking themselves into some kind of spiritual state. You're not. Your thinking changes when you change your frequency. Frequency is changed by actions, whether they're physical actions like moving or doing mantra or yoga, or whether they're doing the 12 steps. Those actions change your frequency, which changes your thinking. And then your thinking is then a tool you can use to continue to change your actions, which will change your thinking, which will change your karma, which will change your manifestation. This is a world of energy. It is a world of actions. And the practices I'm giving you are actions that are guaranteed to give you results if you keep doing them. And again, bulletproof. Do an energy practice. Work the 12 steps and have a mentor. Those 3 things, bulletproof. You might go through all kinds of emotional ups and downs and pain and all that, but pain never kills you. Pain never kills you. That'll make you bulletproof. All right, what else? So that's how to pull out of a frequency death spiral. Frequency split is increasing. This is why it's so important. We are going through a frequency split like never before. I mean, people are flipping out, but look what's happening in the world. Look at it. I don't like admitting it, but I've been alive long enough. I'm now technically, literally in my 60s. I'm not just 60. I'm 61. I can't look back and touch my 50s. I'm now fully into my 60s. And that's when you start talking about somebody's, old. Not middle-aged anymore. You start looking to retire, around your early 60s. And I've been on this earth a while, and I've never seen anything as crazy as what's happening. And there's stuff that you don't know about. There's stuff that is not being reported, obviously. But even the stuff we do know about, the natural disasters that are happening, and people, the crazy stuff happening in cities now, the complete total collapse of our infrastructure and our economy and our culture. There are places we could go to, downtown San Francisco and other places. I was just watching some place that I used to hang out a lot, which was the Santa Monica Promenade. So the Santa Monica Promenade used to be a safe place to go, and it was a place if you wanted to go shopping, go to the movies. And the place is a ghost town now, and it's filled with freaking drug addicts, and all of the shops, many of them are empty. That's orchestrated. That has been done on purpose. There's a force trying to destroy, even if we the materialistic civilization of the United States. There's forces trying to destroy that. And when you combine that with all of the wars that are happening, that are being run by corporations. These aren't run by nations. They're run by corporations that hide behind national flags. That kind of stuff. And, the threats that are coming to freedom, and, the very likely the economy is going to collapse. The banks are going to collapse. These are all orchestrated. So there's never been anything like what I'm experiencing. The frequency shift, I'm at that age now. If I could talk to somebody who was 30 years or younger, and I'd say, I wish I could take you back to the 70s. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of stuff, but there was a lot of things that we had that we don't. There was a lot of freedom that we don't have. Yeah, there were things like racism and a bunch of other garbage things and wars. But we did have a lot of freedom, and people could go and do things like go and start a business. They could go and do things like go to college and get a degree, and that meant something. It doesn't mean anything anymore. We live in this world where it's completely coming apart. And so the only thing we have left now is our frequency of ourself. So those are our two choices. You're either going to jump into the meat grinder, which is focus on 3D stuff like money, reputation, career, things that you think that used to make us safe when I was a kid. If you had a good job, you could have it for the rest of your life, and then you could retire and you'd have a pension. That was a real thing when I was a little kid. It fell apart in the 90s, and now it's completely non-existent. Don't put any time in that. Think about your soul and your soul first, because the other way is a meat grinder. I could go on and on. So the frequency split is increasing. Dark force elites are being indicted in world courts. I like my YouTube channel, so I'm not going to tell you who is being indicted in a European court because of lies having to do with the... You can probably guess who it is, because, who is it that ultimately owns YouTube? But he's not alone. There's a lot of lawsuits that are coming out. A lot of things are being revealed about what has been going on in this world. Just to give you an example, I'm not political. I don't vote, because I've come to realize the whole thing it's just a complete scam. But there's a proposed constitutional amendment for the state of Florida, and amendment number 3. And on the surface, it presents itself as legalizing marijuana. In other words, if you look at it, you think, oh, so it will just allow the average person to go to some weed shop and buy weed the way we go and buy alcohol. Except when you look at it, you actually read it, you find out that it's written by billionaire corporations in Canada that have a list of marijuana suppliers, big corporations. And it would force, listen to this, the Constitution of Florida would be forced to only allow Florida to receive marijuana from those corporations. Those corporations then would forbid you from growing your own. So it's not like it's legalizing it, you can go home and grow your own. Nope, you have to get it through an approved government, foreign government provider. And then on top of that, these corporations would be completely, totally free from any liability. You wouldn't be able to sue them for anything. And they're trying to get it into the Constitution of Florida, which means it's not just a law that can be passed and revoked. This is the world that you're living in right now. And forget about wanting to, do weed or not do weed. I could care less. Do whatever the hell you want. Whatever works for you, as long as it doesn't bother me. But the level of corruption, this is going to be revealed. It is being revealed right now. Some of the stuff, but unlike the guy that's refusing to show up to court in Europe for the lies he made about this thing. We're finally waking up to something that happened, 4 or 5 years ago. They were like, what? That was a lie? None of that was true? And on top of that, it was killing people? Now it's going to be exposed as it's happening. That's my prediction going forward. Let's see. The elite narratives are crumbling and being exposed. I already said that. The destiny for humans is to be gods on earth. This is why I'm really enjoying this guided video, the Egyptian path to becoming God, the Atum video. I made a video about that. I'll keep talking about that. I'm really enjoying that mythology. But that is our destiny. And so, everybody's going to shift at whatever level they're at in their own pace. I mean, I think I've been thrust into the fast track because I think that some people have been called to sort of, anchor this shift and move it forward. And I'm here to tell you that what we are outside of this third dimension is so unbelievable, is so absolutely amazing and unbelievable. And the destiny for humans is to know that while being in the flesh, literally to be gods on earth. And this is what all mysticism has been about. This is what yoga is about. This is what Taoist practice is about. In fact, there are Taoists, thousands of years ago, that their goal was they were seeking to become gods. They weren't seeking to become enlightened. They were seeking to become gods. Now, you hear that and you think, become a god, that's a little... Well, but that's what we're all here to become. They just figured it out. Those Taoist guys figured out, oh, I'm supposed to be a god. All right, I'm going to meditate and do my Taoist practices and my Tai Chi and my Qigong. And I'll, by the way, Taoism isn't a philosophy, it's a religion. It's a very intense pagan polytheist religion where you do all kinds of things and chant to certain deities and practices and mudras and all that kind of stuff. Modern times they think it's just the Tao Te Ching, which is Taoist philosophy, which is nothing wrong with it. It's just all intellectual. In any case, I am getting lost in the weeds here. So that's my list. Our destiny for humans is to become gods on earth. Again, I am actively promoting this new meditation to become the ruling god of your universe. It's free for subscribers who go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong or higher. And you can also just get it in the shop. And again, it's a guided meditation where I take you through the process of how the god Atum, which is the Egyptian understanding of the birth of the soul from consciousness to becoming the ruling god of the universe. And it is a path that is available to everybody. We don't realize this now, but that's what the Egyptian temples were all about. They weren't about worshiping gods, they were about places of power that educated people into the path that their soul would take to become a deity. That's the pyramids. People are going to discover what the pyramids were really about, but the pyramids were really about activating that. But the good news is that we've gone even beyond that. That was 13,000 years ago, Satya Yuga. We are beyond that. We now don't need to have pyramids. We don't need to have giant temple complexes. We are the temple. And when we unlock within ourselves all of the sacred energies within our body, we become Atum, self-created deity, the ruling deity of the entire universe. I'm here to tell you that if you want to rule the entire universe, it is available to you. All you have to do is awaken to what's already inside of you. And the first person that does it gets to be the god of this universe. And there's no waiting. Everybody gets to be first in line. So anyway, this is my contribution to that. The Atum meditation. If you're interested, go to thunderwizard.com. That's it for me, my friends. As always, I am so grateful that you are here. I hope you will join me tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a live stream, live guided interdimensional meditation. I am grateful to whatever it is that you're doing for your awakening, because when you awaken to the joy within your own soul, I awaken. And that's all that is required of you, is to live the joy of your soul. And if you're having problems with that, you're only human. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you as best I can, in whatever way I can. Go to thunderwizard.com and look at all the different ways that I'm here to help you. Again, 12 Steps to 5D is free on the YouTube channel. Look for it in the playlists. I love you all. Please take very good care of yourselves. Thank you for doing whatever work you're doing. I will see you all tomorrow, those of you who can make it. Until such time, please take very good care of yourselves.